Have you ever wondered what the secret to a long, healthy life might be? Well, I'm about to share something that might surprise you. My mother lived to be 102 years old, sharp as a tack and moving around on her own until her final days. Her secret weapon? Something so simple you probably have it in your kitchen right now. Green tea with honey, not some fancy supplement, not some expensive treatment, just an ancient remedy that stood the test of time. I've been following her routine for decades now, and at 83, I'm still gardening, traveling, and keeping up with my grandchildren. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could add years of quality living to your life too. You know, back in my day, we didn't have all these fancy health drinks and supplements lining the store shelves. We relied on what nature provided, and let me tell you, nature knows what it's doing. My mother learned about the power of green tea from her grandmother, who lived well into her 90s, during a time when the average lifespan was much shorter. It's funny how these traditional remedies get overlooked in favor of the latest health trend, isn't it? But sometimes the old ways are the best ways. When I tell my doctor about my daily green tea and honey ritual, he always nods approvingly. "Keep doing what you're doing," he says. "The science is finally catching up to what traditional cultures have known for centuries. Green tea contains powerful compounds called catechins and polyphenols that fight inflammation. And let me tell you, at our age, inflammation is the enemy. It's behind those achy joints, that foggy thinking, and so many other issues we face as we get older. Let me take you back to my childhood kitchen. I can still see my mother standing by the stove, carefully preparing her tea each morning. She'd heat the water until it was just short of boiling, never boiling, she'd say, as it destroys the delicate compounds in the tea. Then she'd steep the leaves for exactly 4 minutes, strain them, and add a teaspoon of raw local honey. It was like watching a sacred ritual. She'd sit at our kitchen table, hands wrapped around her mug, inhaling the steam before taking her first sip. "This," she would tell me, "is how you greet the day with respect." I didn't understand what she meant then, but I do now. Starting your day mindfully with something that nourishes your body and soul sets the tone for everything that follows. It's not just about the tea, it's about the intention behind it, the taking time for yourself, the consistency. These are lessons our fast-paced world could stand to relearn. Now, let's talk about what makes this combination so powerful. Green tea contains a special antioxidant called EGCG, don't worry about pronouncing it, that's been shown to protect brain cells, improve heart health, and even help maintain healthy blood sugar levels. For us seniors, that's hitting 3 major concerns in one delicious cup. The caffeine content is much lower than coffee, so you get a gentle lift without the jitters or that afternoon crash that can leave you feeling wiped out. And honey, oh, what a miracle substance honey is. Not the processed stuff in plastic bears, mind you. I'm talking about raw, unfiltered honey that still contains all its natural enzymes and beneficial compounds. It's a prebiotic, which means it feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Did you know that gut health is connected to everything from your immune system to your mood? My mother always said, "Happy gut, happy life." And modern science has proven her right once again. When you combine green tea and honey, something remarkable happens. The antioxidants in the tea work even better with honey's natural properties. It's like they're dance partners, each making the other shine brighter. And for sore throats, coughs, or when you're feeling under the weather, there's nothing better. I rarely catch colds, but when I do, this is my first line of defense. I remember once, about 15 years ago, when I was visiting my daughter in Chicago during a particularly nasty flu season. Everyone in her office was getting sick, and sure enough, she came home one day feeling terrible. I immediately put the kettle on and made her my mother's remedy. "Mom, I need real medicine," she protested. But she drank it anyway, probably just to humor me. The next morning, the symptoms that had been building were noticeably better. By the third day, she was back at work while her colleagues were still out sick. She's been a believer ever since. Of course, at our age, we need to be mindful of interactions with medications. That's something my mother was always careful about, and so am I. Green tea contains small amounts of vitamin K, which can affect blood-thinning medications like warfarin. It also has caffeine, which might not mix well with certain medications for heart conditions or anxiety. Always check with your doctor before adding anything new to your routine, even something as seemingly innocent as tea. My doctor assures me that for most people, a cup or two of green tea daily is perfectly safe and beneficial. Let me share my daily routine with you. I wake up with the sun. Old habits die hard when you've spent decades rising early. First thing, I heat filtered water to about 175 degrees. While it's heating, I prepare my favorite mug, the one my granddaughter made me in pottery class with those endearingly uneven edges. I add 1 teaspoon of loose green tea leaves to my infuser, though a quality tea bag works fine too. Once the water is ready, I pour it over the leaves and set my kitchen timer for 4 minutes. While the tea steeps, I practice deep breathing by the kitchen window, watching the birds at my feeder. It's a moment of mindfulness before the day begins in earnest. When the timer chimes, I remove the infuser and add 1 teaspoon of raw honey, stirring gently until it dissolves. Then I sit at my kitchen table, much like my mother used to, and savor each sip. No rushing, no scrolling through a phone or watching television. Just me, my tea, and the present moment. I have a second cup in the afternoon, around 3 o'clock, when many of us experience that energy dip. Instead of reaching for cookies or candy for a quick energy boost, the tea with honey provides sustained energy without the sugar crash later. On particularly cold days, I might add a slice of fresh ginger or a stick of cinnamon, both wonderful for circulation and warming the body from the inside out. You might be wondering, can I just take green tea extract supplements? Well, you could, but you'd be missing out on the ritual aspect, which I believe is just as important as the health benefits. There's something deeply satisfying about preparing tea the traditional way. Plus, supplements often contain concentrated amounts that might be too much for some people. The natural tea, prepared with care, delivers its benefits in the way nature intended. Speaking of preparation, let's talk about how to make the perfect cup. The water temperature is crucial, too hot, and you'll burn the delicate tea leaves, creating a bitter taste and destroying some of the beneficial compounds. If you don't have a thermometer, bring water to a boil and then let it cool for about 2 minutes before pouring over your tea. And please, use filtered water if you can. The chlorine in tap water can interfere with the tea's flavor and benefits. As for the honey, always add it after the tea is steeped and been removed from the hot water. High temperatures can damage honey's enzymes and reduce its benefits. And do try to find local raw honey. Not only does it support local beekeepers, but local honey contains trace amounts of local pollen, which some believe can help with seasonal allergies. My mother swore by this, and seasonal allergies never bothered her much, even in the height of spring when everything was blooming. Now, I won't claim this is some magical elixir that will guarantee you'll live to 102 like my mother. Genetics play a role, as does overall lifestyle. My mother walked 2 miles every morning until she was 98. She ate plenty of vegetables from her garden. She kept her mind active with crossword puzzles and reading. She maintained strong social connections through her church and community groups. The tea was just one part of her holistic approach to aging well. But what a powerful part it was. The ritual centered her. The antioxidants protected her cells from damage. The slight caffeine kept her alert without overstimulating. The honey soothed her throat and supported her immune system. Together, they formed a cornerstone of her daily health practice, one that served her extraordinarily well for over a century. I've shared this advice with friends at my senior center, and those who've adopted it consistently report better digestion, more energy, fewer colds, and even improved sleep. Yes, improved sleep, despite the small amount of caffeine. Green tea contains an amino acid called L-theanine that promotes relaxation without drowsiness. When paired with honey's natural ability to slightly raise insulin and trigger the release of tryptophan in the brain, it can actually help you fall asleep more easily. Just be sure to have your last cup at least 2 hours before bedtime. One friend of mine, Barbara, had been struggling with afternoon fatigue so severe she had to take naps just to make it through the day. After switching from coffee to green tea with honey, she found her energy levels became much more stable. No more crashes, no more mandatory naps. She now enjoys playing with her great-grandchildren in the afternoons, something that previously would have exhausted her. Another friend, Robert, had been dealing with stubborn sinus issues for years. Within weeks of adopting the daily green tea and honey ritual, he noticed significant improvement. The anti-inflammatory properties of the tea, combined with honey's natural antibacterial qualities, seemed to reduce his symptoms dramatically. His doctor was impressed enough to ask for details about his new regimen. Of course, I'm not suggesting you abandon conventional medicine. Far from it. My mother lived to 102 because she combined traditional wisdom with modern health care. She never missed a checkup or screening. She took her prescribed medications faithfully, but she also believed in supporting her body's natural healing abilities through simple, time-tested remedies like green tea with honey. Let's talk about quality for a moment. Not all green teas are created equal. For maximum benefits, look for teas grown in Japan or China, where traditions of tea cultivation go back thousands of years. Japanese sencha or Chinese dragonwell are excellent choices with high levels of antioxidants. Organic is best if you can find it, as conventional tea crops can be heavily sprayed with pesticides. As for honey, the options can be overwhelming. Manuka honey from New Zealand has gained popularity for its exceptional antibacterial properties, but it comes with a hefty price tag. For daily use, any raw, unfiltered honey will provide benefits. The darker the honey, generally the higher its antioxidant content. Buckwheat honey, for instance, is nearly black and packed with beneficial compounds. But honestly, the best honey is one you enjoy and will use consistently. Some days, when my joints are particularly achy, I add a quarter teaspoon of turmeric and a pinch of black pepper to my afternoon cup. Turmeric contains curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound, and the black pepper enhances its absorption. It creates a golden, slightly spicy tea that works wonders for discomfort. My mother didn't include this variation. It's my own addition to her time-tested remedy. I found that sharing a cup of tea with friends turns this health ritual into a social one as well. Every Tuesday, I host a small group of neighbors for what we jokingly call our longevity tea circle. We prepare our green tea and honey together, then sit in my sunroom discussing books, current events, or sometimes just enjoying comfortable silence. There's something powerfully connecting about sharing this simple ritual. Studies show that strong social ties are just as important for longevity as diet or exercise. So we're essentially doubling our health benefits. When my grandchildren visit, I teach them how to prepare the tea properly. At first, they were reluctant. What teenager wants to drink tea with grandma? But I added a modern twist for them. Iced green tea with honey and a splash of lemon in summer. Now they ask for it when they come over, especially after sports practice. I smile knowing I'm passing down my mother's wisdom to a new generation, just as she passed it to me. During cold and flu season, I increased to 3 cups daily as a preventative measure. At the first sign of a scratchy throat, I add a squeeze of lemon juice and a dash of cayenne pepper to my regular brew. The vitamin C from the lemon and the capsaicin from the cayenne work together to boost immune function and clear congestion. My mother called this her fire tea, and it rarely failed to nip an oncoming cold in the bud. Of course, hydration is crucial at any age, but especially for us seniors. Our sense of thirst diminishes as we get older, making it easier to become dehydrated without realizing it. The beauty of the tea ritual is that it encourages regular fluid intake throughout the day. Between my morning cup, afternoon cup, and additional water, I easily meet my hydration needs without having to constantly remind myself to drink. Some of my friends worry about green tea staining their teeth. It's a valid concern, as it does contain tannins that can discolor enamel over time. I find that rinsing my mouth with water after drinking tea helps, as does using a straw for iced tea. These simple precautions allow me to enjoy the benefits without cosmetic concerns. What amazes me most about this simple remedy is how it addresses so many aspects of aging simultaneously. The antioxidants combat oxidative stress, which is essentially the cellular damage that accumulates as we age. The gentle stimulation keeps the mind alert. The anti-inflammatory compounds ease the everyday aches and pains that can limit our activity. The ritual itself provides a moment of mindfulness and calm in increasingly chaotic times. All from leaves and honey, nature's pharmacy at its finest. When people ask me the secret to aging well, they're often expecting something complicated or expensive. They seem almost disappointed when I tell them about green tea and honey. That's it? They ask. But that's missing the point. The beauty lies in its simplicity and accessibility. You don't need a prescription or a health club membership or expensive supplements. You just need patience, consistency, and appreciation for small daily acts of self-care. My mother used to say that health isn't achieved through grand gestures, but through humble, repeated actions. What you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while, she would remind me. The tea ritual embodies this wisdom perfectly. It's not about detoxing once a year or trying the latest 30-day challenge. It's about showing up for yourself, day after day, cup after cup, year after year. As I look back on my life, raising children, pursuing a career, weathering loss, and celebrating joy, I realize this simple ritual has been one of the few constants. Through all of life's changes, the quiet moments with my tea remained steady, grounding me when everything else felt chaotic. There's profound value in such anchoring practices, especially as we age and face new challenges. I've been fortunate enough to travel widely in my retirement years, visiting countries across Asia, Europe, and South America. It's been fascinating to discover how different cultures incorporate tea into their daily lives. In Japan, the tea ceremony elevates preparation to an art form, emphasizing mindfulness in each movement. In Morocco, mint tea symbolizes hospitality, always offered to guests with a theatrical pour from high above the glass to create a frothy top. In England, afternoon tea serves as a social institution, complete with scones and conversation. These global traditions reinforced what my mother had taught me, that tea is more than a beverage. It's a vehicle for connection, mindfulness, and health that spans cultures and generations. While the preparations and ceremonies differ, the core benefits remain remarkably similar across traditions. As I wrap up sharing this wisdom with you today, I want to emphasize that it's never too late to start. Whether you're 65 or 85, your body will respond positively to this gentle, natural support system. One of my dearest friends didn't try green tea until she was 79, convinced she wouldn't like it. Now, at 87, she credits it with helping her maintain her independence and vitality much longer than many of her contemporaries. Remember to be patient with yourself as you develop this new habit. It might take time to find the perfect balance of steeping time and honey amount that pleases your palate. Some people find green tea bitter at first if they're accustomed to sweeter beverages. Try different varieties and preparations until you find your perfect cup. The health benefits are worth the experimentation. Start tomorrow morning. Put the kettle on. Prepare your tea mindfully. And as you take that first sip, think of my mother who lived to 102, vibrant, independent, and wise until her final days. Think of me carrying on her tradition and sharing it with others in hopes of helping them live their fullest lives for as long as possible. This simple cup connects us across time and space in a beautiful web of wellness and wisdom